you planning to take on more students at the high school level?
Okay, that's a good question. The way we are currently thinking is to concentrate our funding on high school. And the reason is this. In Kenya currently, so long as a student does well at the university entry exam, the government has a loan scheme for them. And so what we want to do in order to impact more people is to work with these students, try to make it possible for them to do well. Because as long as you pass, then you are eligible. And as long as you pass and you come from a needy background, you are eligible for a government loan. But we also believe that it would be more helpful if we had many more of these students finish high school. Because what we will spend on one student in college can see several of these other kids through high school, and hopefully these ones will have gotten an education that can enable them make meaningful decisions in life, maybe go to middle-level colleges. And so at this level of resources, we are not thinking about paying for university education. Yes.
So how did you pick the secondary schools that you did?
How did we pick?
Yeah, that you decided to enroll.
Okay. Our scholarships are not school specific. They are candidate specific. So what happens is that usually after grade 8, these students get letters of admission to go to all sorts of schools in the Republic. So we pay for them in those schools. So these particular students, as you saw, 5 of them are attending school in Korea because that's where they were admitted. 1 is attending school elsewhere. In fact, my personal wish would be to currently support these students elsewhere because the schools in Korea are not very well equipped. That would have been my preference. But so we don't decide that, okay, we are going to work with school A. No. We decide, okay, this is a needy student who we want to support. Which school is he or she going? Then we pay for him in that school.
What sort of courses are you able to provide for high school students? What kind of, you have science?
Yeah, the students go through the government education system. So they go to public schools, and the curriculum is well-established curriculum. They do both science and arts-based courses. So basically, it's not even within our domain to determine that. The schools are required to follow the national curriculum that is already developed. Yes, please.
So for the first 6 students that LMEF is putting through high school, was that like an application process, or were they just recommended by teachers? And I guess, like, how was the awareness spread around the community so students were interested?
Okay. As you will recall, the foundation was incorporated in June last year. So what we did for these initial awardees is that we prepared a criteria that we want followed, and they sent it to the KCC, to the coordinating committee. And we wanted them, among other things, to work with the headmasters, the heads of the schools. Because we wanted them to, there are very many students who pass and are in need. And so it becomes very difficult. So what we wanted to ensure is that the student who gets our assistance is actually in need of that assistance. So what they did, they worked with the religious and the former school heads. Because we realized that the school heads know who has had a history of financial trouble in the academic, in the school years. Because the students who are often sent home because the uniform is in tatters. Students who can't come with books which they are required to. So we used them. Now that over time we wanted to be able to advertise, but at this time it would not have been helpful because we'll advertise and get 50 applications. Yet you only know you can support 6. So we basically identified by working with the people on the ground.
How has your experience with the American educational system changed, like, the dream at all, or like what you want from students?
Several ways. One, it has definitely changed my own perception of education. And one of the areas, obviously, which I would want, especially ultimately when we have a school, is to be able to give students more voice. In the sense that, to a large extent, students in East Africa simply listen. At times, when I was teaching there, at times it's very difficult even to get them to ask questions. So it's more of just a lecture, and they take what you say and wait for the exams. And so in our curriculum, we want a situation whereby the students are kind of empowered to participate, to be active learners, so to speak. With regard to the dream, I would say that coming to America gave me an opportunity to begin actualizing the dream, because this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. I remember last year, I was in Germany in 2003, and I kept talking about, at that time I was just talking of a school. I was not actually talking of a foundation. And I kept on receiving emails from them saying, hey, how has the school gone by? What has happened? Obviously nothing had happened. But I think coming to the US and getting to talk to many more people made it possible for me to actually move the dream a step forward. So the encouragement, people do these things much more here than in Kenya, for instance. And so to me, what was just a distant dream started